Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us certain ayat in the Quran that are realities. They are matters of fact. They are matters of fact. One of those matters of fact actually is the Quranic evidence for what you just described earlier. Allah said, whoever fears Allah, Allah will provide for him from a place that he never imagined. That is a matter of fact, right? Then right after that, Allah said, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever relies upon Allah, Allah will be enough for him. Allah will suffice him. As in, Allah will suffice his needs. Allah will give him more than he could have imagined. He's going to take care of him. These are matters of fact. Another matter of fact is what people perceive, which is that I have to use my time for my business so I can get ROI on my time. And the more time I put in, the more I can grow my business. Now, when this matter of fact, which is you in your weak human essence, meets this Quranic reality, which one are you going to pick?
Quranic reality.
The Quranic reality, which is that Allah will provide from you from places and avenues that you never imagined, as long as you fear Him, right? As long as you fear Him. So what happens is that because of the Iman being weak and the certainty being low, people not having the appropriate knowledge that's needed, we were all in that place, right? So everyone's on their journey. Inshallah, they get there. Hopefully this could be that eye-opener for them. You start to realize, wait, this is the Quranic reality. I want to live the Quranic reality as opposed to this dunyawi, materialistic,
perceived reality,
which is that I am bound by my hours. And the way that I use those hours will determine the return that I get. But Allah Azza wa Jal brings you barakah. Allah, He brings you rizq. Allah, what does barakah mean? Barakah is the ability to do more with less. Is the ability to literally do more with less. I mentioned the other day, right, on the other podcast that we did, that the Quran is something that brings barakah. Allah said, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ. We sent this book down and it's blessed. And Allah Azza wa Jalla didn't mention where the blessing goes. Because it goes everywhere. It goes into your wealth, it goes into your health, it goes into your deed, iman, your children, your wife. It goes into everything, right? Goes into your time. So I remember I was with my wife the other day and, she wanted to talk and get into some chores and she wanted some help. And I said to her, baby, relax. Let's just sit and read the Quran. And we only read for 15 minutes. In fact, I think we only ended up reading for like 10 minutes. So let's just sit down and read the Quran. And then we found immediately after that, there was so much barakah. Just 10 minutes of reading Quran together as a family, there was so much barakah. I kid you not, subhanAllah. We got 8-9 different things done.
Allah.
From that was chores. From that, I went through an Islamic lesson with her. I opened up a book. I taught her some stuff. From that, we had fun. We hung out. We had dinner. Something that we've been putting off in terms of chores in the house for ages, we got none. SubhanAllah.
MashaAllah.
Barakah is the ability to do more with less. Likewise with business.
Yeah.
You're seeing these deals that are coming in left, right, center as a promise of Allah. If you fear me. Now, what does this have to do with Ramadan? Because that fear, that taqwa, which is the thing that brings you risk from places you never imagined, Allah said Ramadan is for that. I.e. fasting is for that. Fasting literally brings about the ingredient for that risk to come from nowhere. Allah said, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Fasting was made obligatory on you so that you can acquire the fear of Allah. So when you fear Him, Allah Azza wa Jalla now start to provide for you places you never imagined.
SubhanAllah, you have beautifully put it. So the ingredient is taqwa of Allah. And where do you find that ingredient, or when do you find it? It's Ramadan.
So the Prophet ﷺ, when he explained, he said, التقوى ها هنا ويشير إلى صدره ثلاثة. وكما قال, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the fear of Allah is here, right? The taqwa is here. And then he pointed to his chest 3 times. He said, it's here, right? So it's something that's inside of the heart. Now, people, I want to explain what taqwa is. I've done a lot of podcasts for Ramadan, but I didn't actually go into the details of what taqwa is.
Please share.
Because taqwa, we translate as the fear of Allah. It's more than that. So taqwa comes from an Arabic word, which means wiqaya. Wiqaya means to take a shield. So if I'm at war and an enemy threatens me with his arrows, with his spears, with his swords, what do I do to protect myself?
Shield.
I pull out my shield.
Yeah.
And then the arrows hit my shield, I'm safe. So taqwa is you pulling out a shield to protect yourself from Allah's punishment. So Allah's punishment and His displeasure will come to the people who don't have a shield. This shield is called taqwa. Now, what is the shield? Taqwa is the bringing out of the shield to protect yourself from Allah's punishment. What is the shield? It's worship. It's worship. It's to do the good deeds and to stay away from the sins. It's these two things. Worship Allah through good deeds and worship Him subhanahu wa ta'ala by staying away from evil. So every time you stay away from evil and you do good, your taqwa goes up. Your taqwa goes up. The first command that ever comes in the Quran, if you read the Quran from the beginning from Al-Fatiha, is in Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, worship your Lord. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you can receive taqwa. So that you can receive taqwa. If you look at Surah Al-Baqarah, it's the most comprehensive surah in the whole Quran. It discusses everything. It's the only surah in the Quran that mentions all 5 pillars. It mentions money. It mentions marriage. It mentions jihad. It mentions everything, right? The theme of this surah from beginning to end is taqwa, is the fear of Allah, Azza wa Jal. Hajj brings taqwa. Salah brings taqwa. Patience brings taqwa. All of these things, they bring this piety. So when a person comes with that, then this feeling in the heart that I want to worship Allah more and I want to stay away from sins more grows, and it grows more and more and more and more and more, right?
Yep.
And that's what you want to capitalize. The more you capitalize that, there are many effects of it. One of those effects of taqwa is what? That Allah will provide from you from places you never imagined. There's others. Allah said, Inna Allah ma'al muttaqeen. Allah is with those who fear Him. What does that mean, that Allah is with you? Like when a king says, I'm with you.
Oh, that's it. You don't need anything else.
You don't need anything else. I'm with you. My army's with you. My resources are with you. My, you know?
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm with you.
Yep.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another ayah, Inna lil muttaqina mafaza. The ones who fear Allah are the ones who are successful. In what? In this life and the next.
Yep.
Right? In this life and the next. There's so many benefits that come as a result of this characteristic called taqwa. And the reason why we're making such a big deal out of it is because literally in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal explicitly mentioned, this is why you fast. If you think about it, like my body comes from the earth. Your body comes from the earth, right? But our soul doesn't come from the earth. Where does our soul come from? It comes from outside of this earth. Allah said, فَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِن رُوحِي. I blew inside of Adam from a soul of mine that I owned. As in, it was from the souls that Allah owned that was outside of this world.
Outside of this world.
So we don't come from this world. We come from outside of this world in terms of our soul, but our body comes from this world. So what do you do to feed your body?
Eat.
You eat things that come from this world. The fruits that we eat come from the earth. The animals that we eat come from the earth. So we nourish our body by things that come from the earth. How do we nourish our soul?
Subhanallah. Beautifully put, Shaykh.
We nourish our soul by connecting ourselves to that which is not from this world. That which is from outside of this world. Because our soul is outside of this world. Our soul came from outside of this world. So then the Quran is how you feed the soul.
Yes.
The fasting is how you feed the soul. Dhikr is how you feed the soul. So this is why entrepreneurs, you know, you look for seasons where you can capitalize. This is a bull run. Like, you know, for the crypto guys, right? This is the what do you call it in real estate? The market when it's
market is booming.
The market is booming, right? This is when the opportunity is high for you to just say, I'm going to invest in increasing this characteristic of taqwa, which has nothing to do directly with my business activity. But what we fail to realize is that actually very little of our actions has much to do with our business activity. It's very little. It has more to do with Allah's permission and His qadr and His decree and than it is our own actions. So when you worship, then subhanAllah, you will find Allah's help in everything that you do in terms of your business.
Beautifully precious. So profound. So if we're to do a flow chart, I'm just thinking, and risk is the goal. Let's create that flow chart, Sheikh, right?
Okay.
So risk is the goal. I have to worship so that I gain taqwa. Through taqwa, I get more blessings. And through more blessings, I get risk. Did I get it correctly from your... or did I miss a step?
So blessing is from the beginning. The fact that you're worshipping Allah is a blessing. So it's literally, you want risk, right?
So that's the goal. So what are the steps?
Okay. The goal, the steps are 2 things. Do good deeds, stay away from bad deeds. So risk is the goal. How do I get there? But I need taqwa.
Abundance of risk.
Right. So I need taqwa.
Okay.
I need the fear of Allah. How does the fear of Allah come? By doing good deeds, staying away from sins.
Got it.
That's it. If you do good deeds, stay away from sins, you have now acquired taqwa. The more you keep doing of that, the more you keep pumping good deeds, you know, into your actions and staying away from sins.
And fighting away.
Your taqwa is growing, it's growing, it's growing. And when it grows, you know what type of things happen to you, subhanAllah? You know, the Prophet ﷺ, Allah Azza wa Jalla gave him so much rizq that water would come out of the Prophet's fingertips. Like he had so much. The Prophet said, "Atqakum lillah." I am the one who fears Allah more out of any of you. So Allah Azza wa Jalla gave. Let's think about it. The Prophet had riches.
Yeah.
Allah said, "Wajadaka a'idan fa'aghna." Muhammad, we found you poor and we made you rich. The Prophet ﷺ gave one man. You've seen a valley before, right?
Right.
A valley is massive.
Right.
A valley is a piece of land between two mountains. Mountains are massive, so a valley has to be massive. This valley was filled with sheep. The Prophet ﷺ gave it to a man as a gift. There you go.
Wow.
And you can't give someone else's wealth.
No. You can only give yours.
You can only give yours.
Yeah.
He had 9 wives.
Yeah.
He provided for all of them. The Prophet ﷺ had wealth.
Yes.
The Prophet ﷺ could even take a fifth from the war booty.
Yep.
War.
Yep.
You're getting all of this war booty. You know, you could take a fifth from this as a limb. But even on top of that, Allah Azza wa Jalla gave him so much rizq that water would flow out his fingertips. Like literally, that's how much rizq Allah gave him, that from his fingertips, water would flow out. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There is a relationship between the more pious you are, the more that you are provided for. Like the Sahaba literally had, think about it, the crown jewels of the emperor of Persia in the streets of Medina. A Sahabi is wearing the crown jewels of the prince of Persia. The emperor of Persia in the streets of Medina, and he was a shepherd herder before, or a camel herder before.
Yeah.
Right. Allah gives that to you. They conquered from the footsteps of China in the east to the shores of Spain in the west. Like the taqwa will start to give you more than just money, bank balance. It'll give you power.
Yeah.
It'll give you honor, respect. It'll give you status. It'll give you land. It'll give you earth. It'll give you conquering.